Welcome back to Kamikaze Food. Before we dive into today's topic, we've got a quick request. We're thrilled to have so many of you tuning in, but we've noticed that most of you aren't subscribed. If you love learning about the fascinating history of food, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to leave us a comment telling us what food mystery you'd like us to uncover next. And here's something that might surprise you. Did you know that when you bake a frozen pizza, you might actually be finishing the job instead of just reheating it? Stick around, because we'll reveal that shocking truth later in the video. Now, let's talk about something we've all had at some point: frozen pizza. Picture this. It's late at night, you're hungry, and you don't feel like cooking. What do you reach for? That trust in frozen pizzas sitting in your freezer. But have you ever stopped to wonder, where did frozen pizza even come from? Who invented it? And how did it become a billion-dollar industry? Well, grab a slice, because we're about to take a trip through time. Before we get into the origins of frozen pizza, let's take a moment to appreciate how much people love pizza in general. Did you know that Americans eat about 3 billion pizzas a year? That's roughly 100 acres of pizza per day. Pizza is a favorite across the world, and it's no surprise that frozen pizza plays a major role in this culinary craze. In fact, the frozen pizza industry alone is worth over $6 billion in the US. That's a huge chunk of pizza. So, how did we go from a simple dish made of dough, sauce, and cheese to this multi-billion-dollar frozen food industry? Let's find out. The story of frozen pizza starts in the 1950s, but the idea of preserving food to last longer goes way back in history. Indigenous peoples of North America, for example, were known to dry and preserve food for long-time storage. Think turkey, dried beans, and more. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and refrigeration technology started to change the way people stored food. Ice boxes and early refrigerators allowed us to keep food cold for much longer. But freezing pizza? Now that was a completely different challenge. You see, early frozen pizzas were practically inedible. The major issue was ice crystals. When regular pizza was frozen, moisture would form ice, which led to soggy, chewy crusts when baked. That's definitely not what you want when you're craving a crispy pizza. The solution to this problem? Figuring out how to freeze pizza without ruining the texture was the key to making frozen pizza successful. So, who cracked the code? Enter the Celentano brothers, one of the first companies to mass-produce frozen pizza in the US in the early 1950s. But they weren't the only ones in the race. You see, in the 1960s, a couple from Minnesota, Rose and Jim Totino, perfected the way to mass-produce frozen pizza with a much crispier crust. Their brand, Totino's, became a household name, and by the 1970s, frozen pizza was firmly established as a grocery store staple. You could find frozen pizza in nearly every supermarket, and its convenience made it a go-to meal for busy families across America. But the innovations didn't stop there. One of the biggest breakthroughs in frozen pizza technology happened in the 1990s with the introduction of the rising crust. You know those frozen pizzas that magically puff up in the oven, making them taste more like a fresh-baked pizza? That wasn't possible until the 1990s. Brands like DiGiorno revolutionized the industry by developing a way to use special dough that could rise when baked. The result? A pizza that was as close to delivery pizza as you could get from your freezer. DiGiorno's slogan, "It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno," became iconic. They sold millions of pizzas and set the stage for the rising crust revolution. It made frozen pizza taste so much better, and, as you can guess, today, rising crust pizzas are some of the most popular in the freezer aisle. But they weren't the only brand making waves. One interesting thing about the frozen pizza market is that, over the years, brands have kept pushing the boundaries of what frozen pizza can be. We've seen all sorts of creative versions: breakfast pizza, dessert pizza, and even gluten-free and cauliflower crust options. The rise of health-conscious eating and low-carb diets led to cauliflower crust pizza becoming a popular option in recent years. It's not just your standard dough anymore, it's a whole new world of frozen pizza. But let's take a moment to talk about another one of frozen pizza's biggest surprises: its controversial legal history. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, and the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, got into a legal battle over the regulations surrounding frozen pizza. The issue? Whether frozen pizzas with meat toppings should be regulated differently from those than with just cheese. Can you imagine a legal dispute over frozen pizza? It sounds pretty wild, right? But it just shows how seriously frozen pizza is taken in the food industry. Even government agencies couldn't agree on what makes a pizza a pizza. Despite the drama, frozen pizza continued to evolve. And in recent years, a new game-changer entered the scene: the air fryer. As more and more people started using air fryers in their kitchens, frozen pizza companies quickly realized the potential. Air fryer pizza is a thing now. People can cook their frozen pizza in record time and get that crispy crust without having to preheat an oven for 20 minutes. If you haven't tried air fryer pizza yet, you're missing out on one of the fastest and most delicious ways to cook frozen pizza. So, after all that innovation, you might be wondering, how do frozen pizzas actually work? What's the secret to making them taste so good after being frozen? Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for: the biggest secret about frozen pizza. What if I told you that many frozen pizzas aren't actually fully baked before they're frozen? That's right. Many frozen pizzas are only partially baked before they're frozen, which is why the final baking happens in your oven. That means when you pop your pizza in the oven, you're technically finishing the job. You're the one completing the pizza-making process, and you might not even have known it. Next time you're biting into that crispy, cheesy frozen pizza, remember, you're enjoying a food that took decades of trial and error to perfect. And let's be honest, no matter how fancy fresh pizza can get, sometimes nothing beats the convenience and comfort of a frozen pizza that's ready in minutes. It's the ultimate late-night snack, and it's even perfect for a quick family dinner. So, what do you think? Do you have a favorite frozen pizza brand? Or do you prefer making your own from scratch? Maybe you're one of those people who loves experimenting with new pizza recipes. Whatever your pizza preference, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what's in your pizza rotation. And if you love this deep dive into the history of frozen pizza, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more delicious content coming your way. Thanks for watching Kamikaze Food. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore another fascinating food topic. And before you go, what food should we uncover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. We can't wait to hear what mysteries you want us to explore.